Hello, I'm Jon Salmanton-García, postdoctoral researcher in the Institute of Translational Research in the University of Cologne in Germany. And today I will speak about building an international network. These are my conflicts of interest, which are not related to the current presentation. And the first question one can have is why to build an international network, or actually why to even build a network, regardless of the geographical expansion. And the thing is that the current challenges we are facing in infectious diseases, especially as that's our topic, require cooperation. And therefore, we cannot just do things on our own from our single institution. We need to work with other people. And this networking, it's important because it gives us access to diverse expertise, also different type of patients, and also different type of perspectives. And another important aspect is that if we build shared infrastructures, we will have an increased efficiency, and that these days it's something our managers do value. Additionally, in parallel, we can get a greater visibility, more publications, and also a greater impact. And good example of international networking we could see in joint data registries, in harmonized clinical trials, or in surveillance or rare disease research. First of all, it's important to identify strategic partners, not just a matter of building network with people we are friends with, but also that we can get benefit one from another. And this includes partners across different regions with different expertises and also different research levels. And a good way to get in contact with these different type of people is via scientific societies, including our target sections and also the young sections of the different societies. It is very important, and actually it's key to ensure diversity. And this diversity comes from different angles. The geography perspective, also the institutional, big versus small centers, clinical and laboratory collaboration, also the age gap and the gender inclusion. And it's important to assess the commitment and the capacity of potential partners. It's not the same capacity, the one of a junior colleague or the one of a senior one, but nevertheless, the help and the feedback we can get from one and the other can also be different. So it's necessary to include at least one of each. And kind of the base of the whole networking system is trust. That's the base of it, and that's how or what we should pay attention to. We have to be transparent in different aspects like the governance of the network, how the data will be used and disseminated, and also the authorship of the eventual reports or publications. And it's important to define roles and revisit them as much as needed in the network, and also frequent communication and respectful communication. This is extremely key. A very major aspect is also the funding, the sustainability, and the ethics behind the network. And this comes with a planification and early planification of sustainability. And this comes together with mentioning which are the priorities of each of the partners in this network. It's necessary to explore which are the options for public findings, also the private partnerships, and the institutional co-funding or membership models. And for these aspects, it's actually of your major interest to have some legal and ethical framework and include a lawyer or someone close to a lawyer or with knowledge in laws, because there are some aspects that are necessary to keep in mind. One is the data protection, depending on the country or the region might be different. Also the agreement for collaboration and the ethical alignment across institutions. And in these days where digital tools are all around us, we have to use them, or we can use them in our own benefit. For communication, we have, of course, the emails, but also the video calls with different softwares like Zoom or Teams. Also, the data entry systems and systems for analysis. We have RedCap, Google Form, clinical surveys. And it's also very good that we use shared documents because that way all the members of the network will have the latest update of a certain file. And we are also facing some common challenges. One of them is the language and the cultural differences, the time zone coordination, also the variable infrastructure and the different access to internet, and as mentioned before, the differences in regulation between countries. And I would like to finish, bring a good example from our own experience, and it's coming from the project IFI Diagnostic and Treatment Capacity in different countries. Basically, it's an online survey where we assess how well different countries or regions are equipped to diagnose and treat invasive fungal infections. Up to now, after several years, we have managed to get collaborations with more than 1,000 collaborators in more than 100 countries all around the world. And the key, it's been very simple. A simple survey with online entry and share authorships. Actually, the latest publication from this study or from these publication groups, we can see it on the right side of the screen, and we can see how long it can take in order to acknowledge everyone. Because in many cases in science, greeting the collaborators or the participants of a certain research with authorships is our main and sometimes even the only currency. And what lessons or what lessons we have learned? First, to start small and then scale to big. Engage your partners from the beginning and keep the enrollment open, as there might be people coming in and going out depending on their different circumstances. Also, to keep the platform simple and user friendly, and therefore get feedback and ask feedback to our collaborators. And finally, recognize with authorships, with visibility, because this will drive further participation. Thank you very much and see you next time.